For a decade, the billionaire's daughter lived in silence. Every test, every procedure, every specialist failed. Then the maid with a humble heart arrived. What she found hiding in Isabella's ear would not only restore a voice, it would expose lies that shook the entire family. For 10 years, Isabella Kingsley lived in silence. Every specialist said the same thing: nothing can be done. She was born deaf. Her father, Richard Kingsley, a billionaire with mansions, private jets, and more money than most people see in a lifetime, spent millions, flew across the world, begged top doctors to look again. They all shook their heads. But no one saw what the new maid did. Elena was just a young woman trying to keep her mother's medicine paid for. No degrees, no power, just a quiet heart and faith stronger than fear. Yet she noticed something that every doctor, every nurse, every staff member missed. Something hidden deep in Isabella's ear. And one evening, while the mansion slept, Elena made a choice that could either give Isabella her voice, or cost Elena everything she had. What happened next will shock you, and you should find out by yourself. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and tell me in the comments which part of the world you're watching from. The night Isabella Kingsley is born, the city shines like it always does. Tall buildings glow. Streets pulse with life. Wealth moves freely outside the hospital windows. Inside, everything stops. Richard Kingsley, billionaire, power broker, a man used to control, stands helpless as doctors rush past him. Then the words come. His wife is gone. The room fills with a silence so heavy it feels alive. A few hours later, before grief can even settle, another sentence is spoken. Your daughter is deaf. Permanently. Richard doesn't fight it. He can't. The loss is too fresh. The pain too sharp. He signs the papers placed in front of him without truly seeing them. In that moment he believes the silence is fate. Years pass. Isabella grows up inside a mansion big enough to echo, yet quiet enough to feel empty. Crystal chandeliers. Long hallways. Priceless art. And a little girl who hears none of it. She communicates with her hands. With her eyes. With smiles that try to hide loneliness. The staff know the rules. Don't touch her. Don't get too close. Don't ask questions. They move around her like shadows, polite, distant, afraid. Some pity her. Others avoid her completely. The house is full of people. Yet Isabella is always alone. Richard throws money at the problem. Specialists fly in from across the world. New devices. New experiments. New hopes. Every time the answer is the same. Nothing can be done. Each failure hardens him. At night, he watches his daughter sit by the window, tracing shapes in the glass, staring at a world she cannot hear. And guilt eats him alive. Then Elena arrives. She is just a maid. Plain uniform. Soft voice. No influence. This job is her last hope. Her mother is sick. Bills are waiting. Every other door has closed. Losing this job would mean losing everything. On her first day, the head staff pulls her aside. The rules are clear. Cold. Non-negotiable. No personal contact with Miss Isabella. No touching. No questions. No emotional involvement. One mistake, and she's gone. Elena nods. She has no choice. But she notices what others don't. She notices how Isabella flinches when doors slam. How she presses her palm to her ear when certain vibrations pass through the room. How her loneliness feels wrong. Elena feels it in her chest. Because she has seen this pain before. Years ago, her little brother screamed endlessly while doctors dismissed it. Until one day something hidden was found, and everything changed. Now, standing in a mansion where silence rules by fear, Elena feels her hands tremble. The staff whisper warnings. Don't get involved. "Elena, this is not your place." And Elena hesitates. This job feeds her family, keeps the lights on, keeps hope alive. One wrong move, and she loses it all. But when Isabella looks at her, really looks at her, something inside Elena refuses to stay quiet. She doesn't know what the truth is yet. She only knows this. The silence surrounding this child is hiding something dangerous. And once Elena steps closer, there will be no turning back. Elena keeps her distance. She has to. Every hallway has eyes. Every corner feels watched. The rules echo louder than footsteps. She cleans. She bows her head. She pretends not to see Isabella sitting alone in rooms too big for a child. The other staff avoid the girl completely. Not out of cruelty. Out of fear. No one wants to be blamed if something goes wrong. Isabella notices. She always notices. When servants pass her, they smile politely and keep walking. When she reaches out with her hands, they gently step back. Loneliness becomes her routine. Elena tells herself not to look. But one afternoon she finds Isabella sitting on the cold marble floor, back against the wall, tracing invisible letters with her finger. Elena stops. Isabella looks up. Their eyes meet. Something passes between them. Something quiet. Something human. Elena hesitates, then kneels at a careful distance. She points to herself. Elena. Isabella's face lights up. She signs her own name slowly, proudly. They share a smile. From that day on, small moments begin to grow. Nothing obvious. Nothing forbidden. Elena leaves clean towels closer to Isabella's reach. Slows her steps so Isabella can walk beside her. Sometimes when no one is watching, she hums. Isabella can't hear it. But she feels it. She presses her palm against the wall. Against the table. Against Elena's arm. Vibrations. Her eyes widen every time. One evening, Isabella suddenly winces. She grabs her ear. Just for a second. Elena freezes. She has seen that movement before. Too familiar. Too specific. Later, Elena asks another maid quietly in the laundry room. "Does Miss Isabella ever complain of pain?" The maid stiffens. "Don't ask that," she whispers. "Doctors said she feels nothing." "But," I said, "don't." That night, Elena can't sleep. Her mother coughs in the next room. Bills sit unpaid on the table. This job is everything. And yet, Isabella's flinch won't leave her mind. The next day, a loud object drops in the kitchen. Metal crashes. Isabella screams. Not in sound but in terror. She clamps her hands over her ears and curls into herself. Everyone rushes in. "Careful," someone snaps at Elena. "You're too close." Elena steps back, heart pounding. But she sees it clearly now. This isn't silence. It's discomfort. Something is wrong. And everyone is choosing not to see it. As Elena watches Isabella shrink into herself, a terrifying thought forms. What if the doctors were wrong? What if they never looked deep enough? What if the truth has been hiding all this time? Elena knows the cost of asking questions. She also knows the cost of staying silent. And somewhere between fear and faith, something inside her begins to break. Elena continues to notice everything. Every flinch. Every wince. Every time Isabella touches her ear when the world shakes just a little too much. The signs grow impossible to ignore. One afternoon, Isabella sits beside Elena as she folds laundry. A door slams somewhere in the mansion. Isabella jerks violently. She grabs her ear and shakes her head, tears forming fast. Elena's hands stop moving. This is not deafness. This is pain. Elena remembers her brother's screams. The way doctors waved her away. The way no one listened, until something small was finally pulled out. Her chest tightens. That night, Elena kneels beside her bed. She prays quietly. God, please don't let me be imagining this. The next morning she watches Isabella closely. When Elena gently taps a metal spoon against a glass, softly, carefully, Isabella's eyes flick up. Not randomly. Directly. Elena's breath catches. No one else notices. The staff are too busy following rules. Protecting their jobs. Preserving silence. Elena feels trapped. If she's wrong, she loses everything. Her job. Her income. Her mother's medicine. If she's right, and does nothing, a child stays imprisoned in silence forever. She approaches the head staff cautiously. I think Miss Isabella feels pain in her ear, Elena says. The woman's expression hardens instantly. You were told not to observe her. Doctors have confirmed everything. Do your job. That night, Elena packs her uniform slowly. She considers leaving. Walking away before she's accused of something worse. But then Isabella appears in the doorway. She holds up a small drawing. It's Elena. And Isabella. Standing close. Underneath, in shaky letters, is one word. Friend. Elena's hands tremble. She knows what touching Isabella means. Termination. Arrest. Shame. But she also knows what faith feels like. It doesn't roar. It whispers. And it's whispering now. The next afternoon, Elena is alone with Isabella in the sitting room. Sunlight spills across the floor. Elena kneels in front of her. She signs slowly, carefully. Does your ear hurt? Isabella nods. Elena swallows hard. Her heart pounds so loud she thinks the whole mansion can hear it. This is the line. Once she crosses it, there is no return. Elena closes her eyes. She prays one last time. Elena's breath shakes. Her eyes darted to the door. Still alone. She reaches into her pocket and pulls out a small hairpin. She pauses. From the cleaning cart, she takes a cloth and wipes the pin carefully with alcohol. Slow. Deliberate. Her hands tremble as she wraps the tip in clean fabric. Elena, Isabella signs, uncertain. Elena forces a calm smile. She kneels. Closer now. Stay still, she mouths gently. She brings the hairpin forward just enough. Elena's fingers tremble as they touch Isabella's ear. Her breath is shallow. Her heart is racing. She moves slowly, gently, afraid of hurting the child, afraid of being seen. Isabella flinches at first, then she stills. Elena didn't push. She waits. Her heartbeat thunders in her ears. Then, she feels it. Something firm. A faint resistance. Something that doesn't belong. Her blood runs cold. Very carefully, Elena adjusts her angle. She prays under her breath. She remembers her brother. The pain. The moment everything changed. With aching patience she hooks it. And pulls. Something slides free. Small. Metallic. Artificial. It drops into her palm. For one heartbeat the world freezes. Then Isabella gasps. A sound tears out of her, raw and untrained. Her eyes widen in terror, then wonder. Papa? The word is broken. Fragile. But it is sound. She covers her ears, then pulls her hands away. I hear. I hear. Elena collapses to her knees, tears blur her vision. The miracle has begun. Isabella laughs and cries at the same time, covering her ears again, then pulling her hands away. I hear. I hear. Footsteps thunder into the room. Staff rush in. What did you do? Someone screams. Richard Kingsley storms forward, face pale, eyes wild. He sees Elena on the floor. His daughter crying. Something small clutched in the maid's hand. Get away from her, he roars. Elena is dragged to her feet. She tries to speak, to explain. But no one listens. Security is called. She touched the child without permission. She could have killed her. Richard doesn't hear Isabella calling his name again. All he sees is danger. Elena is escorted out of the room in tears, still clutching the tiny object. Behind her, Isabella screams, not in silence this time, in sound. But the door slams shut. Elena is fired on the spot, threatened with arrest, thrown out of the mansion with nothing but her uniform and shaking faith. That night, Richard sits alone with the object Elena dropped. Curiosity eats at him. He orders tests, deep scans, independent specialists. The results come back one by one. And with each report, Richard's world begins to collapse. Because Isabella was never deaf. She was silenced. On purpose. Richard stares at the tiny object in his hand. A device. Small. Metallic. Implanted deep in Isabella's ear. His hands shake. Questions flood him. Oh, what? How long? Then the name comes up in investigation reports. His ex-lover. The woman he once trusted. The one he thought he had left behind. She had bribed the doctors. Orchestrated the lie. Stolen his daughter's voice. Rage and grief twist inside him. But before he can act, a sound catches him off guard. A voice. Clear. Bright. Laughing. Papa. Papa, I can hear you. Isabella runs into his arms, clinging to him, crying with joy. Richard collapses to his knees, holding her close. He whispers apologies between sobs. I'm so sorry, my sweet girl. I'm so sorry for everything. Outside, the authorities move quickly. The corrupt doctors are arrested. Records uncovered. Evidence of bribery, deceit, and conspiracy exposed. Richard's ex is unmasked. Her reputation ruined. Justice delivered. But the real miracle is before him. His daughter alive to sound. Alive to life. And somewhere in the background, the quiet truth settles. Elena. The maid who risked everything. Richard seeks her out. He finds her sitting on the edge of a park bench, coat pulled tightly around her, eyes red from crying. Elena, he says softly. She looks up, hesitant. I should have lost everything, she whispers. You gave her back her world, Richard replies. You saved my daughter. You saved us. Nothing you risked was in vain. He offers her a place in the house, a position she truly deserves, and a reward far beyond her dreams. Elena shakes her head, smiling quietly. I only did what I had to. God guided me. That's all. Isabella runs to her, holding her hand. The mansion that once echoed with silence now rings with laughter, chatter, and music. Richard watches Elena and his daughter together, a quiet awe in his eyes. He realizes that love, courage, and faith are more powerful than money, pride, or fear. And in that still golden light of evening, the house feels alive. Not because of wealth, not because of power, but because the heart of a little girl can finally hear. And the heart of a humble maid reminds the world. Miracles happen when someone dares to act. Isabella's laughter mingled with Elena's soft, proud smile. With faith, hope, and courage have triumphed. Silence is finally broken.